Hi. This week I've been thinking a bit about community content programs. I've seen a few conversations recently saying how most of the community content writers that have been publishing for a while have seen a general slowdown in sales of community content. And I have a kind of theory that I've been thinking about. And with the COVID pandemic, it really seemed to kick off in, say, about March 2020. And for a lot of people, things like lockdowns and work from home rules and orders are, still in place now. And that saw a massive increase in the amount of community content that was being released. Even if you were working from home, you saved all that time that was part of your commute. Or if you couldn't work, you had spare time, and so all the role players out there, they couldn't get together and play, so they were started creating content and selling it. Now, it doesn't take long in a community content program for you to start butting up against the limitations, and there's all kinds of sort of soft limitations in there. If you create something and you want to see it in print, there's only a small handful of community content programs which offer print. The Savage Worlds one does, the Grim Perilous Library, they do. Um, there's a couple of others. DM's Guild have kind of screwed it down, trying to make it difficult, but they still, there is a route there, but most don't. Um, if you wanted to create cards, a card deck to support your product, um, even fewer allow you to do cards, and the best place to sell cards is on DriveThruCards, and you can cross-link the product, but you can't do that with a community content program because you have to sell the products in the community content program, and that is only on DriveThru. So you can't put it on DriveThruCards. So you're cut off from the best marketplace for cards. Uh, Now, when you start hitting these kind of limitations, you it's kind of almost a natural progression to become a publisher in your own right. And to start with, your community content earnings massively outstrip your publisher earnings because you've got the community content program brings in an audience. It's by the official publisher of the game you're writing for. They have a much bigger audience. They bring in the people. You sell your products. When you're completely standalone, you've probably got no mailing list, no real reach. You're a new publisher. You've probably got very little social media following. Almost nowhere to get customers from. But the minute you start selling one or two, maybe off the newest banner, on the drive-through homepage, you will start to get people that want to receive your emails, and that starts your mailing list. If you can submit something to the Halloween trick or treat, that will get you a few hundred email addresses on that prepared to receive your emails. If you submit something to one of the charity bundles, if it's accepted, you'll get a few hundred email people sign up to receive your emails. And as soon as you've got a small list, it means that when you release something new, you can tell people about it, and that will drive more sales. And it all starts to become a little bit of a snowball effect. The telling existing customers about your products won't grow your mailing list, but it will get you into sort of the some of the hottest lists. If you tell them all about it on the first day, you get a bump in sales, and that increases your homepage exposure, and that can generate new customers. You can use your own mailing list to tell people about your community content, new releases, but you can't go the other way. You've got no way of reaching out to all of your community content customers to tell them about your new publisher releases. That's another one of these little limitations. So what we saw is from sort of early 2020, a big spike in people releasing community content. But recently, that's gone really flat. And I think these people have migrated to becoming publishers in their own right. And what was interesting was now this is the Green Ronin's publisher page, and they're 21 years old, assuming that's relatively up to date, and they've put their text on their publisher page, and they've put their logo on there, so they're making the most of this default category. So that's good. Um, Now they have got two community content programs. They've got the Age Creators Alliance, and they've got the Chronicle System Guild. So two community content programs. This title here is the hottest selling title out of both their community content programs. Now, that title there has sold 15 copies and has grossed, not net or net profit, but grossed $22. So just $22 is enough to get you the hottest out of all of their community content, which is really, really disappointing. This is the Grim and Perilous library. Now, I've got 3 of the top 7 hottest there. This one in the 4th place has sold 4 copies this month. The 2 below it have sold 1 copy each. There's so little turnover in new products. If we look at the newest titles, newest community content, some of these were. Does it actually tell me when they were? But they are weeks old, and that one's relatively new, I think. My internet connection is always terrible, so I'll just try and open the first 2 tabs. So that was a bundle, so it's not a real product. The one before that was so they're actually one day apart. Let's have a look at the next real product. New tab. So this is a real product. It was released on the 8th of January, and this one 29th of December. So 12 days apart. So that's one new product every, say, 12 days. Let's go back to this one. When was this released? So we've the same day. Same publisher released 2 on the same day. But the point is the products are not being released in anything like the frequency they were this time last year, or in the middle of 2020, because I think people are migrating on to becoming publishers in their own right. Which means if you're just starting out, you need to make that transition faster. It's don't worry too much about the community content programs. People keep saying that the DM's Guild is a really good way to get started, and that's probably true. If I was starting now, I would probably put my the first few things while I was learning my craft would be to put out things like this is by Sadfish Games, or Tyler Thompson of Sadfish Games. It is a 1-page adventure. So you can see they've got the map. You've got the all the locations marked there, and a basic adventure. 1 page. Anyone can write 1 page. Probably under 2,000 words. And you can stretch your muscles and learn to write tight, so you're not just sort of waffling on when you don't have to, like I am now. Um, but you can learn your craft there. Learn where to get decent stock art or public domain art if you're using that. You can uh, learn how to make covers. How to the PDFs. You learn everything you need to learn about the publishing on these, because they will get you feedback. They will get you some exposure. But as soon as you think you know enough to start releasing something more substantial, transition to a publisher, and then start that journey. Yeah, I can take a fairly broad poll of how the community content programs are performing, because I've got content in 17 different community content programs, and I would have said the only three that are performing well at the moment um, are the Miskatonic repository, the Free League Workshop, and the DM's Guild. And the weakness with the DM's Guild is it's one of the most restricted, and it gets so much content that getting any kind of exposure there is really, really difficult. It's a real hose of new content. Um, the other two, um, if you don't play Call of Cthulhu or Pulp Cthulhu, the Miskatonic repository is going to be quite a hard one to break into. Their adventures are unlike most other games, uh, and Free League is quite a nice one. That's probably the sweet spot between the two. I'm selling my usual solo stuff there. I think I've got 7 solo books on it, and Marcus, who works with me, is writing adventures for Simbaroom, and they're all selling. So that one is actually working quite nicely, and it's certainly getting lots of new content because they regularly release new games. Most of the new content at the moment is actually for Twilight 2000. But we're still getting sales from Simbaroom. We're still getting sales from Forbidden Lands. Uh, all of the solo rules are still selling. So, and these are old products now. They're a year old, 2 years old. So they're long in the tooth, but they're still reaching a new audience. But apart from these few sort of top line community content programs, most of the others are feeling very, very suppressed to where they were 12 months ago and 24 months ago. So yeah, you if you are a regular publisher, look at your sales from community content programs and see whether they are allowing for seasonal variations, whether they are tailing off. In which case, look at where you can go next. If you are if you're not an independent publisher, if you are just writing community content at the moment, seriously think about moving over to becoming a full blown publisher. There's lots of videos and articles about the advantages of being a publisher. I won't go into that. But yeah, that's my thoughts for this week. Thank you for watching.